Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Riverside Chat. As you can see behind me, there is the beautiful Colorado River. Not very red, by the way, but yeah, Colorado River. Something just recently came across my desk. It was, well, let me put it to you this way. Those of you who are pro-life, you know, the whole, or no, sorry, pro-choice. I'm going to say it that way. Those of you who are so pro-choice that you would rather murder little innocent babies before they're even born, rather than approve of defending oneself against that same psychotic baby when it grows up because it didn't have the proper parenting because you were a piece of shit. Well, yeah. The fruit will be assessed by the tree, and the tree by its fruit. Those of you who read the Bible know that particular line. You know what it means. It means that for every adult who has a child, you will be able to tell that child's behavior by how that adult was raised. And you will be able to tell that adult how they were raised, who they are as a person, by how their children act. If your child is a little spoiled ass fucking little kid, little brat of a punk, guess what? It just goes to show how good of a parent you are. And if your kid is an upright and respectable human being, tries to do their damnedest to make this world a better place, you know, however misled they may be, at the same time, the effort of trying to make this world a better place, that is the fruits of a well-raised child. Somebody who had parents that were worth more than a lot of parents out there. Now, a lot of kids these days are very backwards. They've twisted things. They don't have a full understanding or recollection of why we do these things. But their hearts are in the right place because they had good parenting. Unfortunately, a lot of kids also get this idea that, you know, because adults pay attention to them online, that gives them the right to define what this world is supposed to be. Sorry, kids. You haven't been alive long enough to tell me what the fuck I can do with my guns. Plain and simple. You haven't been alive long enough to know what a gun really is, or what it's used for, or why they exist. And since you haven't been alive long enough to know that, you probably don't understand what martial arts are actually for. Martial arts aren't for making you look like a badass or making you feel like, oh, I'm the biggest son of a bitch badass motherfucker on the planet. You're not. You're not. You could be a 280-pound motherfucker and I'll still kick your ass. Plain and simple. I'll get my ass kicked by somebody who's their first day in karate. You know why? It's not because I'm not a master. It's not because I haven't practiced for my whole life. It's because shit happens. Flukes come out of nowhere. So, yeah, don't rely on your strength or on your prowess. You don't have any. That's the reality of combat. You go in, you might not come out. Doesn't matter who it is. Doesn't matter how badass you are, how big, strong, gnarly, fucking rah, I'm a man. Trust me, I could do the same thing. For trails. You're not doing anything. You're not impressing anybody. And honestly, you know, I know this probably makes me sound like a beta male, but for serious, if you're so much of a pussy that you can't stand up for yourself and your beliefs in a right and proper manner without shouting at the top of your fucking lungs because you got it wrong, Guess what? Yeah, you don't deserve or observe your opinions. Because the First Amendment clearly states that everyone has the right to an opinion. Everyone has the right to speak publicly. Everyone has the right to assemble. Everyone has the right to post their beliefs and views in a public forum. Since this is the new public forum, this is the town square where you stand on your soapbox and you sit there and you shout out, "Hear ye, hear ye! This is the news! Come forth, understand the truth!" Guess what? That's where we're at now. This is YouTube. This is where we actually have public discourse. If you cannot get through your head that this is where the forum of freedom of speech lies here in America, and you want to censor that, tell you what, see downstream there? About 100, not even 100 miles, about 80 miles that way, downstream. That's where the Mexican border is. By all means, get your ass over that border. The fuck out of my country. You're destroying it. Also, one other amazingly stupid thing that's come across my desk. You refuse your responsibilities, you don't gain your rights. Guess what? That's the truth. That's the way our Constitution is built. If you refuse your responsibilities, you don't observe the fact that you are supposed to carry a firearm, you are supposed to be that deterrent to criminality, you are supposed to be that person taking care of your country, you are supposed to be the person standing up for the right and honest and proper. Defending others more so than you defend yourself. Guess what? You are remiss of duties. Plain and simple. If you're not getting your ass out here and doing that, you're not coming to wherever it is that's necessary to show of force, defend your country, defend its sovereignty from, foreign or domestic enemies, you don't deserve to have a gun. You don't deserve to have a freedom of speech. You don't deserve to have the freedom of religion or the right to a fair and speedy trial or the right to an honest and open public forum. You don't have the right to any of that. All right, I'm gonna put this plainly. You don't have any of the original 10 because the reality of the situation is you have not observed your responsibilities. Observe your responsibilities, and you have earned it, and nobody may take it from you. But until you earn it, you will be fighting for it, or you will not have it. So, this was a Riverside Chat. I'm thinking about renaming them OMG-WTF. Because, think about it for a second. I mean, what the fuck? Why are you gonna go and say, "Oh, I have the right to choose"? Let me point something out to you. And I think that, a fella from Computing Forever, I can't remember his name, he got this absolutely 100% spot on. You have the right to choose your choices about your body. Absolutely. However, that little baby growing inside of you is not your body. Okay? I don't give a flying fuck if you think, "Oh, but it's in my body, so it's got to be part of my body. No. That is a new human being growing inside of you. If you cannot have the wherewithal to show that creature proper standing and show that creature love, you don't deserve it. And therefore, you should go and have an adoption program lined up, because you don't deserve to have that child. You shouldn't be forced to have that child, because obviously you're not going to be a great parent. But at the same time, you have abso-fucking-lutely no right to kill that child. None. That child has not caused you any harm yet. That child doesn't have an explicit interest of killing you. Yet. And that child has not physically caused you any harm. And as a matter of fact, if you consider childbirth to be harm, well, I don't want you to be the mother of my child. Let's be clear, I can't have children the old-fashioned way. Doesn't mean I can't have kids. Science does exist. But if you're so stuck up and self-absorbed that you think that that child doesn't deserve the right to exist, you know what you can do, right? You can vote against it, and yeah, I can't believe that I'm actually saying this. You can go and have an abortion, which is just, I want you to think about all those people out there that are like me. Cannot physically have a child for some medical reason. And we'd be very good parents because we know how to be a parent. We were raised by our parents to be good people. And, you know, we actually have a foundation. A lot of us do. And the scary thing is that you'd say, well, you can't have a child, and I don't want a child, so I'm not going to let you have any opportunity to raise this creature that's growing inside of me. You see that behind me? Look at all that nature. Miles of it. Absolute leagues of nature right next to people. Miles of it. You know what nature's doing right now? She's existing and continuing forward. Why the fuck can't you? Is your thinker broken? Mine isn't. I know for a fact that, you know, if I had the opportunity to have a child, you know, that it might be a life changer for me. I don't have a job. I really don't personally need one to survive. But I don't have a job. I don't really have a house. I have a trailer that I live in. I am not remiss of my duties because I come out here and I bust my ass every year. Every week. Every day. Almost. And, you know, I do what is necessary to be considered a good man. I try to be a good man. Now, that being said, I'm pretty sure that if I had a son or a daughter, they would grow up to be very righteous individuals themselves. Just specifically because I was raised by my father, my mother, my grandmother, my uncles, my aunts, my family friends. All of them put in time with an interest of making me a better man. And that same effect comes down to our children now, that we must all put in time to make for brighter future securities. You have to stand up and do the right thing. And the fact that you don't, here and now, well, I'm sorry, but that's tantamount to criminality. Now, I've been more than fair in saying, hey, you know, you don't want to fucking live in our country, get the fuck out. Because, in all reality, you can. You can leave. Nobody's stopping you. Nobody hates you. Nobody wants you to freaking fail or be a loser. We want you to win. And the fact that you're not putting in the effort to win is why we just don't want to deal with you. Don't get me wrong. I don't hold nothing against you as a person. What we hate, what we dislike, what we find disingenuous is the fact that you don't carry yourselves as proper human beings. You know, my family, we died for this flag. We fought in many different theaters, many different countries, so that red right there stays there. So that white is always pure. We fought for you. Stop fighting against us. Is that so hard? Cowboy up. Become a proper human being. Commodore Price, out.